Hey guys, Encore Performance here. Today we'll be reviewing a match where I was playing as the Cumans and Canadian Conan Donjon rushed me as the Sicilians. It's on the map Arena and we struggled to get out of the early game, but once we did, we were hoping things would take a turn for the better. Grabbing my cow. My early game was a bit slow, but it picks up again. Typical build order as always. If we go look at Conan, he's doing the same thing. Yeah, but he should be sending cows in before sheep, as cows have more food. Just scouting the map out. Luring my first boar. Looking under berries over here. 4 on wood. And since I wasn't really going for a rush, I decided to put 5 on wood. That way I'd be able to comfortably afford my second TC in Feudal Age, which is the Cumans bonus. One of them. And very unorthodox here, I was sort of just built too many villagers and didn't know what to do with them. And I click up. Conan hasn't clicked up yet. We can check what his resources are. He should be clicking up now. Yeah, this is definitely a mistake. He's been here for a long time. There we go. And he is on 19 villagers to our 23. And we're going to immediately throw up this second town center. And a little scout battle there. If we look, I didn't like my golden stoneware forward, so I decided to put a TC here to solidify this one. Just make sure it'll stay. Go over to Conan. He also has farms, but it doesn't look like they're touching the TC here, so not the most effective. If you run out of space here, you should just go over to your mill. And here we have him housing up the wall. I accidentally deleted the wall here, so I palisaded it in time, thank goodness. Because I wanted to lock the gate. And I deleted the wall because I wasn't thinking straight. And our first Donjon coming up. I had the TC here as Donjons don't have very much pierce armor, so dropping a TC on it, like worst case scenario, you can always just delete your TC and move it up against them. And that's why the best counter is fast castle, and then put a castle up here. Towers don't do so well against them just because of the HP difference. And he's bringing up 3, he's using sergeants to build them. I go for the Cumans' other bonus, which is a siege workshop in Feudal Age. As you can see, I'm really taking advantage of the Cumans' Feudal Age boom, going up to castle with 45 vills. Bringing this battering ram out, knocking those down, coming over to the Donjon, leaving the gate open unfortunately, but he doesn't notice. And this is the best strat. They're always going to be interlinked because of the fact that you don't have murder holes yet, so you want covering fire. And one TC here, you'll see how it'll clean it up. Castle. I put a TC here, but I do not manage it, and I lose the vill. But watch this castle. Even in normal speed, it's just mowing these down. And then maybe you won't do the Cumans battering ram in Feudal Age, but still in Castle Age they also work quite well. So it's a very strong unit, Feudal Age, but once it's past Feudal Age, it's definitely lost its use. We put a watchtower here just so that way he couldn't Donjon here. We had the TC on this side. So if you're not playing Arena, walling is critical because that gives you space. And you always want to make sure your main resources are protected. I thought he was going to get in there, so I made a bit of a secondary wall. As you can see, I still had my gold, my wood. And almost losing this villager here. Thankfully, he has no upgrades on these sergeants. And with a bit of micro, managing to kill the 2 sergeants without losing the villager. Queuing up some Kipchaks. Throwing these guys on gold. We're now on 3 TCs. Popping on to another soon. Trying to boom at 52 vills, 53. Sending these Kipchaks and the ram out, as Kipchaks excel against infantry. And guess what? you counter rams with infantry or cavalry, but the Sicilians do have a good cavalry, just not what I'd recommend. Bringing a sheep here for Conan. Conan misses the sheep, losing a kip check to the castle, sadly. Speaking of castles, going for a castle drop of our own, you can see how they just take out the sergeants nice and fast. We leave the ram behind, we go for a raid on the eco, and brutal what happens here, but again, lacking micro from Conan. We got 4 or 5 vills here, cleaning up this military like it's nothing. Up with our castle, researching Cuman mercenaries for 10 free, 1 elite Kipchak before I train them because I'd like them to be light. Not sure what happened here. Oh, he had a relic here, so we walled it there. Speaking of relics, I've collected the other 4. Conan is on 1, I believe. And some close calls with those onagers, picking off 2, 3, 4 vills, throwing them inside to heal while we're queuing up all of our others, free ones, thanks to our tech. If we check relics, he's on 1. We go for a castle here. Unfortunately, we're really starting to boom at home. Popping off with... Never mind, I'm wrong. Not just yet. And this does manage to come up, but he gets through here with the ram and the sergeants. And it was, I believe, he got his unique tech, allowing him to receive 10 at each town center. Because I can see 1, 2, 3 town centers that looked about 30. Down here, I convert a villager of Conan's. I even flare it to let him know, but sadly he wasn't paying attention. And I come up with a watchtower to disable his wood. And these villagers have sappers though and clean it up like it's nothing. I do have murder holes. This mangonel didn't earn that much. It did decent. Not the expected result. 14 Kipchaks in here that I should be using to raid right now, but now is when I start my boom. I'm thinking I'll go paladins. So you can see the tech popping up there. Grabbing steppe husbandry, which means steppe lancers, hussars, and cavalry archers are all trained at twice the speed. Bringing a trebuchet up here. Again, not paying attention. I sort of just clicked up here. I saw it. I thought he was coming with the ram, so I panicked and tried to get a few shots off. Turns out he wasn't. And we do get the siege workshop down, though. Stopping this endless slaughter of baron rams. This mangonel did okay. It just kept damaging our own castle, as you can see. We get this down. It's also, we have machine gun fire thanks to Kipchaks taking out the blacksmith. I believe he does 1 more assault. We really should have been pressuring this gold. Meanwhile, we are going for a huge boom, dropping TCs on every resource we see. Going for a lot of farms. As you can see, we're on 143 villagers, which on a 200 pop game is what I'd consider a big boom. And coming in here, it looks bad, but somehow we managed to micro our way out of it, destroying everything and getting 2 free vills off of it. So I think we killed maybe 6 knights in there, 2 cavaliers, and some mangonels. And then we sent them into the back of his base to scout, as I thought he'd be pushing off of here. If we look down here, a lot more vills being brought up. I see this barracks, I panic, and what do? You have to wall it in with palisades. It's your only option. Sadly, we miss a spot here, but we do fill it in later. 2 TCs here. I believe we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because between those 2, this one. Using a few paladins here, just to disrupt the eco, as he had been ruining mine, so I used paladins of my own to counter. And now I had no other use for them, but a misclick, we accidentally attacked lumber camp, come in here, and same thing happened, sadly. And this lumber camp is left on 11 HP, and now you can see what a Canadian Conan woodline looks like. It may be false, it may be made in another nation, Sicilians, but it is still there. You still have the original. And a mix of skirmishers and cavaliers come in here. I'm not sure I like this. I think this should be the archer line. and this the Hussar. But perhaps. Losing a TC there, sadly. And we begin our queue up of 50 cavalry archers to counter halberdiers, and 51 paladins to counter everything else, and these just help us with buildings. We bring them all over here. And, guys, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking, but is that an onager I see? An arena? And some cavaliers coming here to largely inconvenience me. I was the leading villagers by this point, like to an obscene amount. You can just see there's so many people missing from their workstations. So I didn't mind the raid, it was just, I didn't want him to get kills for the statistics. You have to look right in the statistics. You can see here throwing villagers away for, I think we got 10 gold out of that, maybe. Well, it was fully walled. Siege onager here. I wasn't aware the Cumans had siege onager, actually. And we'll come in through here, over to a, here it is, guys. The Canadian Conan one. And this one's real. I'm not sure I endorse the Donjon for defense, but forward it is very strong. Some unupgraded battering rams. I believe the Sicilians, let me check, do have, yeah, siege rams, so those should at least be capped. And I do panic here as I'm looking at my monastery, thinking of all my only gold source income at the moment. Thankfully, Conan doesn't notice, so I actually had some camels being built. Throw guys in here, or no, just throw up the castle and safe. And I have some steppe lancers in here, along with some cavalry archers in here, just as a little safety precaution. We cut in here. Unintentionally, we weren't ready yet. So I cut out a little pocket. This is where the trebuchets will go. We'll send in the paladins. And I'm hoping, and I was hoping correctly. Oh, they're not built yet. Oh, yes, they are. I was hoping he'd be relying on trash, as I knew I had most of the relics. So I knew my paladins would decimate skirmishers, and my cavalry archers would just help clean up halberdiers. And thank goodness I was right. We run in with these paladins, causing mass chaos in seconds. We can even watch it on the slower speed. It's brutal what happens. Getting revenge on those pesky monks. And come in here and you can see what happens to this large group of infantry. It just starts getting mowed down. Just numbers dropping. Because cavalry archers have a lot of overkill. But once the units spread out and cavalry archers start picking their own targets, it goes really quick. Destroying the monastery because of the relics inside. Taking out this donjon. Bit of idle time with our paladins that I do not endorse when they're on their castle and TC fire, but we still haven't lost one. There, we lost one. Two, we've lost two. And now I push out with steppe lancers and cav archers. Yes. How many paladins are we on? We've lost 4 in this entire attack. Our cavalry archers, on the other hand, we've lost 7. Our steppe lancers is something not to speak of, as we lost many there. Now our 10 trebuchets really start to earn their keep, taking these down in seconds. And over here, destroying the castle. Raining down on the TC. Taking out this castle. Speed it up a bit. And he did call GG, but for some reason the replay is out of sync here. I am not sure why. But momentarily he calls GG in its game. As you can see, we still had lots of units queued up. And we had way more villagers beforehand. A few rams of his coming in here. They do take down this university before he calls GG. You can see the chaos we had. And yeah, that's odd. We'll look at statistics. Stars and everything, as always. Units killed compared to units lost, that's what I would consider quite good, but also, like, it's good on paper, but it's sloppy in reality. 5 units converted of his, 1 of mine. If we look at Eco, leading there. Technology, leading there as well. Society, 162 villagers, which was better than my usual boom, to say the least. And when you see the timeline, guys, you may be a little shocked, but this is what happens when you have an Eco. Here were our few Kipchaks. And right about here, I delete all my villagers and queue up hundreds of paladins and cavalry archers and win the game. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.